Okay, looks like it's 6 o'clock. The regular meeting of the Ojai Planning Commission has been called to order. Sherry, will you take the roll call, please? Or is it Ida? Ida? Ida.
I have to go get another microphone for her. Can you call roll?
Okay, I guess we just have to wait for a few moments for the
I can
technical
do
people
it.
to get.
I can do it from here.
You can do
So
it.
I'll take roll.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Reich-Schmidt,
Here.
Chair Murphy,
Here.
Commissioner Graham,
Here.
Commissioner Chesley,
Here.
and one vacancy.
I lost my pen.
Okay. The first item of business on our agenda this evening is to select a vice chair. I am now opening the nominations for a vice chair.
I nominate Commissioner Graham.
Commissioner Graham, will you accept the nomination?
I'm honored, thank you. Politely decline, just too much happening at home. We have 2 baby boys, and then I'm traveling for work up and back and forth between the Bay Area. So now is not the right time for me to be able to take on those responsibilities. Thank you.
I nominate Chair Chesley. Is that
Commissioner Chesley,
Commissioner Chesley.
Well,
Will you accept the nomination?
yes.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing no nominations, will you please take the roll call for us, Lucas?
yes. Commissioner Reich-Schmidt,
Yes.
Chair Murphy,
Yes.
Commissioner Graham,
Yes.
Commissioner Chesley does not vote as he is a nominee. So, Commissioner
Okay.
Chesley, you are now the vice chair.
Congratulations, Jonathan.
So for the next meeting, we will have you sit in a different location, but for tonight, this is fine.
Okay,
All right?
great. Commissioner Graham, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda this evening?
No changes.
Okay, we'll approve the agenda as presented. We don't have to vote on that, right? Okay. We will now turn to public communications. This is a time that is set aside during the Planning Commission meeting for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of city business other than scheduled agenda items. Matters raised at this time may be briefly discussed by the commission and will generally be referred to staff and/or placed on a subsequent agenda. Under state law, other than for emergency items, no action can be taken on them at this meeting. Before we start with the public, I would like Lucas to introduce our new attorney.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we have a new city attorney that's representing the Planning Commission tonight and moving forward for meetings in the future. Her name is Carrie Raven, and she's with Alshire and Winder, and she's a part of the contract that was approved by City Council last night. So, Carrie, if you could just say a few words about
Thank you,
background.
Thank you, Lucas. Madam Chair, members, commissioners, my name is Carrie Raven. As Lucas said, I am an attorney with Alshire and Winder. We are a public service law firm, and we only do public service work. I have been an attorney for over 20 years, practicing in the area of municipal law, and I've represented planning commissions up and down the state as their general counsel, so I'm very familiar with all issues that will come before you. I've primarily been a transactional and advisory attorney and a land use specialist, but I also work in litigation. So if and to the extent the city needs my services in that area, I'm here to assist. I come from a deep bench. My firm has a deep bench of attorneys equally excited to serve the city of Ojai, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Welcome aboard. Moving on to the consent items. We have 2 sets of minutes. Let us first address the minutes of the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, October 1st, 2025. Are there any additions or corrections?
Not on
Hearing
my
none, I will accept a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you.
I'm back.
Call, please.
Oh, Ida, you're back?
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Murphy?
Ida'll do the call.
I'm sorry. Did you start with Murphy?
Mhm.
Yes.
Chesley?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Reich Schmidt?
Abstain.
And moving to the second set of minutes, they are from November 5th, 2025. Are there any additions or corrections to these? I would take a motion to accept them.
Motion to accept the minutes.
I second.
Murphy?
Call, please.
Murphy?
Yes.
Chesley?
Yes.
Graham?
Abstain.
Reich Schmidt?
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is disclosure of site visits and ex parte contacts. Jonathan?
No ex parte contacts. I visited the site this evening before the meeting.
Same.
I visited the site, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but we did receive 2 emails, communication, that weren't part of the packet. One was from Craig Walker, and one was from Jeff Becker, who is the property manager for the adjacent building next door.
I assume that those have been made available to the public?
Yes, so those comments should have been emailed to you, and they are also on the website, available to the public. Yes.
Okay, good, thank
So
you.
I don't need to say that next
Right.
time, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, you can absolutely say that. That's,
sure.
You
That's
can say
completely
it.
within.
It's, but
Okay.
they have been made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I too have been to the site and have not had any ex parte contacts. Okay, moving along. We are going to be dealing with a design review permit tonight, DRP 25-010, and a conditional use permit, CUP 25007, for the remodel and expansion of outdoor dining facility previously approved by the Planning Commission. The CUP 0705, at the rear of a newly established restaurant, Ojai Mountain Farm, located at 242 East Ojai Avenue. Could we have the staff report on that item, please?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. So that was
Staff report first.
yes, the beginning of presentation that, yes, this is a request tonight for a design review permit and also a conditional use permit for the remodel and expansion of an existing outdoor dining facility that was previously approved in 2007 by the Planning Commission. And yes, the outdoor dining area is located at the rear of 242 East Ojai. The original approval is still in effect pursuant to Section 10-2-2413 Conditional use permits run with the land that's in the City of Ojai Municipal Code, and that was for 360 square feet of outdoor dining area. Over time and without the benefit of permit, or permit amendment rather, the dining area expanded to a little over 1,000 square feet. The current request with a new tenant and restaurant is for the expansion from the previously approved 360 to 527 square feet. So there's an increase in what was previously approved, but a decrease from what was previously, like, literally utilized. And pursuant to 10-2-2410, modification of a conditional use permit, as well as Section 10-2-3102, both of the municipal code, the Planning Commission is to review and consider in a public hearing this request. So hence the CUP amendment. The reason that staff is also updating or has updated the conditional use permit number as opposed to amending the previous CUP from '07 is for efficiency for internal processing reasons and the fact that there's a redesign here that requires the design review permit. The design review permit is required pursuant to 10-2-2003 for a new movable bordering fence, which doubles as a planter for the requested 527 square feet, a large shading umbrella, and new furniture from the furniture that was previously there. As you know from visiting the site, there isn't any furniture there now. The project is also subject to the Arcade Plaza Architectural Design Guidelines, which the director is required to refer to pursuant to 10-2-2005 of the municipal code. As the title of those design guidelines imply, these guidelines are largely related to new structures and renovations of existing structures and site designing. However, they also do address furnishings on page 41, and that document has been included in your packet. Here, the guidelines state that resin or plastic benches and cafe tables and chairs should not be used, that umbrellas should be made of cloth and should be high enough to not block visibility and for people to walk under. Authentic quality materials should be used for all furnishings. The 3.5 foot high fence or wall, it's not a fence, it's more of a wall, structure is proposed to be cedar and it doubles as a planter. Your packet may indicate that the material is teak, because when it initially was submitted, it was, but there was a change to cedar, and that selection was because the teak tends to be more modern, not always, because I believe the benches in the in the front are teak, but anyway, the cedar seems to be more in keeping with the design nature of the plaza. The guidelines indicate that the umbrellas, as I said in the previously, that they should be made of cloth, not plastic or vinyl, and I'm putting little quote marks up because the guidelines do not say that they shall, and therefore, if the commission finds the umbrella material appropriate as proposed, you, as the commission, have the authority to approve it as described in your packet. We did receive a couple of comments. We received a comment from a representative for the adjacent neighbor to the east, and the architect and I just went out and checked out the site today and just really wanted to make sure we understood what the concerns were. And then I also personally spoke with the business owner of that address, and he just wanted to make sure he had access to within something that's not even part of this project, actually, or it's not part of the request before you tonight. It's a part of something that was already approved. Anyway, he's fine, and it was only regarding that. He's happy for the applicant and pleased to see the improvements in the plaza. And we also received, and you received it in an email, a comment from Commissioner Walker. He's a historic preservation commissioner, and he is here tonight as well as the applicant. I think it's appropriate unless you want me to read the comment to you, it's appropriate since you received it yourself and he's here, that if you have questions about that, I'll just leave that to you.
Okay.
And again, I do have the applicant here. Or actually, I have the applicant's representative, who's the architect.
Okay.
Okay, and staff is recommending approval of the project, and recommending that you approve the draft resolution as presented in your packet. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff on this report?
I'm curious, the Historic Preservation Commission, why wasn't this sent to them, knowing that it's in the arcade? It's part of, the historic building in Ojai that...
Sure. So it's the Arcade Plaza. The Ojai Arcade is specifically the front of the arcade with the arches and the walkway there. And we have within the downtown, so there's two different things here. One is the arcade, and the arcade is specifically the front, the arcade, and then the Historic Resources Report for the state designated historic district, downtown district in Ojai, very specifically mentions every building within the city and what is historic about it. I did print out that section of the Historic Resources Report that was prepared by Caltrans in 2018 that designates the downtown a historic district. And very specifically, this address is acknowledged. However, the plaza, which is not private property, it doesn't belong to 242 East Ojai Avenue, even the section that has the outdoor dining. The plaza is not acknowledged in their Historic Resources Report. But the write-up regarding this address, 242, which is not the plaza, is specifically doesn't. So anyway, the Arcade Plaza has design guidelines, very specific related to it, and it doesn't acknowledge the Historic Preservation Commission. It's not historic.
Thank you, that's very...
I hope I didn't
very
go
well
on.
thought out.
Okay, I didn't
really
go on too
appreciate
much,
that.
sorry.
Am I hearing this right then, that the property for that building ends at the back door?
Yes, the back
And
wall.
everything
The back
else
wall.
behind that is public property?
Yes.
And so when the city is granting any sort of CUP, it's actually on public property rather than on...
Yes, and outdoor dining requires a conditional use permit on public property. And so that's why we're here tonight, because it's on public property.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. If it wasn't public property, if it was private property, we wouldn't be before you for a conditional use permit. That would be a minor conditional use permit.
The director.
Who has the authority for that would be the director.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on this staff report? Okay, then we will open. Oh, no, we'll go to the applicant first. Would you like to say anything at this point, or? Okay, so we'll move on to the public comments then. Okay, we open the public hearing, and our first speaker is Craig Walker.
Thank you. My name is Craig Walker, and I sit on the Historic Preservation Commission, but I'm here as an individual. 242 East Ojai Avenue is listed on the California Register of Historical Resources as a contributor to the Downtown Ojai Historic District, which is also on the California Register. And this property, as well as that back patio, is within the California Historic District, which is listed on the register. It has also been found eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. The building patio dining area is specifically called out in the state's Historic Resources Report. Patios that are associated with a historic structure and/or historic district contribute to their historic character. The project could impact the character and the integrity of both the building and the historic district in which it sits. An EIR is actually mandatory under the California Environmental Quality Act because it is on a property that is listed on the California Register. The project's environmental review, however, does not even mention the historical status of the property, and no historic analysis has been done, which is required under state law. Why no review of historic impacts? I don't know. Maybe it was an impact or maybe a misunderstanding about what the historic status and environment that this building is located in. The applicant previously asked the HPC to approve moving the building's storefront on the front of the arcade back several feet in order to allow outdoor seating along the arcade. The HPC denied that request due to the impact on the historic building and the historic character of the arcade itself. While outdoor seating is allowed on a limited basis in the plaza, the work needs to be reviewed for historic impacts. And the law, the CEQA law, even says that what could affect a historic building is not only the building itself, but anything in the immediate vicinity of that. And I think we can all agree that that patio was in the immediate vicinity of a historic building in a historic district. The theme and style of Downtown Historic District is early 20th century mission revival with elements of earlier styles. The vision for the downtown, established in 1917, was that Mead and Requa's designs would inspire the continuation of a mission-style Spanish village theme throughout the downtown. The Arcade Plaza, created in the 1970s and 80s, was clearly created as an extension of that historic vision. It says so in the little check mark number 1 on the Arcade Plaza guidelines. The Arcade Plaza architecture should reflect and or be compatible with Ojai's mission revival architecture. The design of the proposed patio, however, looks to me more like modern European. It is not compatible with the Arcade and Arcade Plaza design guidelines, much less the Secretary of the Interior standards, which it has not been evaluated in terms of. Checkmark number 2 on the standards for the plaza calls for the Arcade Plaza buildings to be fronted on the plaza. Most of the arcade buildings have entrances facing the plaza. A third of this building's brick facade facing the plaza is already blocked by a new electrical panel and walk-in freezer enclosure. And I wonder if the end of the building is the back door. Did the city allow them to put the freezer, the walk-in freezer, and the electrical panel on city property? The solid fence around the seating area will create a physical barrier and block sight lines through the plaza. Just because the footprint of these outdoor seating areas was allowed to expand during the pandemic doesn't mean that we need to allow those to continue. And I make that walk along the back there quite a bit. And when you walk along the back of the stores there, you now have to jog out towards the parking lot and back to use the public restroom. And that's the only public restroom other than those in Libby Park. Also, teak wood is not reflective of the theme of early California. Other outdoor dining areas, and this one too up until now, use wrought iron that is compatible and visually open and also movable. You also have to ask, what is the cumulative impact of allowing this? What if all the arcade owners created similar expansions behind their stores? It sets a precedent, and possible cumulative impacts must be reviewed under CEQA. Some other questions I have: are they altering the portico? The portico is the little rounded figure over the door, and it looks to me from the drawings like that's being changed to something more modern. A single large modern umbrella with siding is a whole different look than individual traditional umbrellas. They should be, I think, as the arcade guidelines that call for cloth and not a big vinyl with plastic sides. Anyway, I hope they'll take this back to the drawing board and we'll submit it to the HPC for a proper review against the historic standards. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. The next speaker card I have is for Larry Steingold.
Good evening.
Good evening, Larry.
I think it's great that Tony Yano, I guess I pronounce it, is opening a restaurant. The Ojai pub is nice, and hopefully he could do something with the brewery, the bowling alley, but needless to say. The shade cloth and the umbrellas should all be fire resistant, along with the last applicant from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. His shade cloth should all be fire resistant, and that should be code. The fact that the walk-in freezer is already there, and now they're asking for permission to put it there, is no different than the lights. That it's like you're asking now for permission for doing something that you already did. Okay, and the whole city is, with all the enforcement and all this stuff, is trying to undo all this stuff and make it up to code and come here permanently and do it right. The fact that it's on city property, shouldn't there be a lease? Okay, number one, on the property. I mean, if I was to lease 8, 10, 12, 15 square feet of the city and walked in, they're gonna go, hey, we wanna get some rent. All right, so that's appropriate. The fact that they upgraded the electrical without getting the proper approval to do the walk-in freezer, I don't know. Okay. By putting an outside freezer, you're essentially expanding the size of the building. So if I wanted to expand the size of the building, I don't know how big the walk-in freezer is. My guess is it could be 10 by 10, 8 by 6, whatever it is. You just expanded the size of the building by whatever the square footage is. So if I came here and said, hey, I've got space, I want to add 48 square feet to the building, you'd have me through building permits and codes and whatever else had to happen. So that's what's in essence has happened or happening. If a walk-in freezer is the only one in town, you're now setting a precedent. So I realize there's design review. I realize it's okay, you want to put a walk-in freezer, you need more space. I get all that, right? You can't make more space inside unless you rip stuff out and try to manipulate the space. But just being practical, envision every restaurant with a 10 by 12 or 12, or however a big semi is, where they drop the walk-in freezer. Is the door going to be coming from walking outside, or is the door going to be coming from the inside? In which case they got to, now there's another exit. So it's like, it's a good idea, but I just think hasn't been the consequences of approving it. Are they good or bad? Where's the next one? So.
Thank you,
that's-
Larry.
Thank you.
Are there other speakers waiting to be heard? Ida, anyone online?
No.
Thank you. Okay, I will close the public hearing at this point, and I will bring it back to the commission for deliberation. I do have a question that I'd like to start with, and that is, when did this freezer show up and under what authorization?
So the freezer, and since this will probably come up too, the fence around it, well, actually, I'm going to separate them. The freezer was approved through a director's exemption some time ago. I don't think it's been a full year. And the fence around it was a replacement of one that was existing, same height, same exact location.
And that fence was part of a CUP?
The fence has been there since potentially it wasn't there for the previous CUP, but the city started requiring fence permits in 2021.
Okay.
So it was there before then, and so who knows?
Grandfathered in.
Right, and so it was being replaced in the same location. And the fence and the freezer are not part of your request tonight, your review tonight. They were already approved. Yes.
Okay.
When I'm just going to say one more thing. I described to the commission what is in your review tonight, and that's a movable cedar fence that is also a planter. That's 3.5 feet high. An umbrella that, when closed, is 15 feet high, I believe, and when open, I'd have to look, but it's less. It's not as high. And the expansion is a request to go from 360 feet that was approved in '07 to 520 square feet that's being requested today. If they were not requesting the expansion in that square footage, then we would be probably not here this evening. It's an amendment to that previous CUP. And I'm only going to address what you're asking me, so I'll just stop now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, to the commission. Who would like to start off? I see a smile here.
I have a lot to say on this one. Lots of notes. And I agree 100% with Craig Walker. I think that this project should go to the Historic Preservation Commission for comments, mainly because we have them as a commission for very specific reasons, and that is to keep our charm, and our historic resources intact, and to protect all that's important to us, which the arcade is probably number one. Why wouldn't we want to get comments from them? Just because it's our property, it's city-owned property, we want their comments on this to see if it's appropriate and if it will impact our historic resource. So I am encouraging the Planning Commission to send this back to HPC for their comments and then come back to us. That's what I think. I also agree with Larry, the walk-in cooler. I know it's not on the agenda tonight, but I think that was a mistake. So I'm going to go down my list. I've got a couple pages. I'll start with the umbrella. It's 19 feet by 19 feet. It's huge. And it requires a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot footing that goes into the bricks of the arcade plaza. The arcade plaza is, and it says in the arcade design guidelines that it should be the heart of the community. It's a gathering space. It's really public space. It's our space. And when a business comes in and wants to use the public space, I think it's very important to keep all the improvements, the millions of dollars that we put back there with bricks and landscaping and boulders and arbors, arcades, all the things that we put in there 20 years ago or so. Let's not just allow the bricks to be torn up when there's options. And the options are smaller umbrellas in this case. The concept of having a 19 by 19 umbrella with plastic sides, I think stands in the face of the Arcade Plaza design guidelines. I think it's not in keeping with the scale of the plaza or what we want to see back there, according to this document. I think it just doesn't fit. I think smaller market umbrellas would be more appropriate. So that's the umbrella. The planters, I agree with Craig. I think those planters they're nice, and if it was a private space, I think it would be a lovely project. I think it would be perfect. But we are dealing with public property that we have a history of policing issues back there. People hang out back there all night long. We need to be able to see through the barriers around, or I don't want to say barriers. I think this actually is a barrier. It's a visual barrier. You cannot see the little vacant space that's to the west of that plaza, of that dining area, which is south of the restrooms. That's a notorious place where people hang out and do things they shouldn't be doing. And so when there's eyes on the plaza, eyes on the street, you can see through the surrounding areas, like the decorative wrought iron panels that we have out there now. That would be more appropriate. You look at the pictures, and there's a couple of pictures in the application showing those wrought iron panels, and it looks nice. It's airy. It looks really beautiful, and when that plaza was in operation as a dining, I think Vesta might have been the first business that did it, and then Monte Grappa. It was packed, it was beautiful, it was airy, and I think that's more appropriate for that space. So I agree with Craig that the wrought iron panels are more appropriate. And I just want to add that after the Arcade Plaza was put in, the very first application for outdoor dining was a business called Movino, and that's where Sam's Place is now. And there was concern about core drilling to hold any kind of fencing. So that project, I think, might have come back to Planning Commission a time or two. And the settlement was these wrought iron panels. They sit on top of the concrete. There's no need to core drill. They're movable, and they work really well. After that, the project where we're looking at now, they did that too, just because it kind of set the standard for the Arcade Plaza. It was the look that we were going for at the time. And I think that does still to this day match the arcade design guidelines better than a cedar planter box. So that's that on the planter box, and the defining barrier. The fence, part of the fence, the cedar pony walls and the gate also require core drilling. They say they're movable cedar planters, but the pony walls require core drilling into our bricks, and that is a foot diameter foundation for the pony walls. Again, I think it's a mistake to allow businesses to core drill into our plaza. Let's see. As far as the expansion on the north side shouldn't go any further than the bricks indicate on the plaza. And it's a natural transition zone. I don't know if they're wanting to do that, but right now the construction fence is encroaching into the walkable space, as Craig was saying. It needs to come back there's a post out there that shows where the public restrooms are. And I think the northern barrier of the fencing, if any, should be on the south side of that post. And as far as going out to the east in front of Ojai Olive Oil, I think if we had more movable barriers like the wrought iron barriers, I think it would be appropriate to allow the expansion at this time, since Ojai Olive Oil doesn't have outdoor dining at this time, or they don't use that door. So I think it's very appropriate to allow the expansion and maybe have a condition of approval that says that should there be a time that Ojai Olive Oil wants to it changes businesses and maybe a restaurant goes in there, that they have an option to get their space back, and that this project would be limited to the width of the building, which is their property line, and I think that would be fair. That being said, I think it's still, in any case, there should be, the barrier should be moved, I guess it's west of that tree that's discussed in the letter. As far as furniture, I did read in the arcade design guidelines, the first bullet point under the heading furniture says, resin and plastic benches, cafe tables, and chairs should not be used within the plaza. So I wouldn't die on that sword for this application. I think the furniture is fine, but, and this is a should in the arcade design guidelines, but I think that the architectural renderings has, chairs in there that actually are more suitable for that would meet the arcade intent, or the intent of the arcade design guidelines, which are, I think, metal and wood. Also, the last thing that I wanted to point out is that the city of Ojai hasn't approved, in my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, has not approved a private entity to have outdoor dining on public property in years. It's been a long time since it's happened. The ordinance, Title 7, Article 7 of the Municipal Code, requires that the applicant have an outdoor dining permit from Public Works, in addition to the CUP from planning. So there's two permits. There's a planning permit and a Public Works permit. I'm not even sure the Public Works Department knows about it, because I called today to find out what the application was. It's not online, and I didn't hear back. So they may not know that they're required to review this. But the ordinance says that there should be an annual permit by Public Works just to make sure that it's well-maintained and the permit is following the standards set. Proof of insurance, a hold harmless agreement, and agree to conditions necessary to restore the plaza upon termination of use. So all those things, it's, it includes that, but not limited to that. There's a lot more that goes with the Public Works permit for outdoor dining. And I just wanted to put on notice, the applicant on notice, that that is required per the code. And that's not listed in the conditions, so they may not know about that. So I just wanted to see if we can add that to the conditions of approval if we go there. And I think that's it for now.
Thank you. That was a lot. Jonathan?
Sure. I mean, I would say that in general, I agree with everything Commissioner Rice-Schmidt said. I do think it's a little problematic because I think, although as we're saying, we're not talking about the walk-in cooler, this application is like fundamentally a request because the walk-in cooler is approved, right? So, which I think is sort of what Larry was saying, right? Now there's this thing that's eating up the outdoor patio space. So they can no longer, the original request, is no longer really viable because they've actually lost a lot of space with it. So it's a little hard to, it's a bit of an injustice in a way to them, because it makes it our job a little bit hard to approve something that's sort of saying, because there's obviously some feelings that, related to it, is just that it's a little hard on these drawings. I mean, we went to the site, but I think what's really fundamentally missing on all this information are some of these details that were brought up just now and brought up by Craig, which is, okay, like, where's the bench in relationship to this? What does the paving look like? You kind of get one view, I guess, of the neighboring building and how it sort of implies that it gets in the way of that. But I think there's a lack of context from the drawings, and even going to site, because it's a construction site, it's not exactly clear like where these parameters lie without taping it out or something. So on that hand, it's hard to exactly assess this, but it does feel a little bit like we're getting kind of like pushed to a decision when it's sort of like, well, we would like to maybe have a conversation about how this whole space was used. On this diagram on the floor plan, I guess maybe the architect can speak to this. From A2.2, there's the sort of diagram of how the previous approved CUP, I guess the existing patio, meaning how Montegrappa was using it, and then what the proposal is. But then there's also this darker zone that isn't part of the key. Can you clarify that?
I would like to, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm actually going to do something that I would have done before. Let's see. I'm going to bring up the plan that that you're looking at. No, I guess I'm not. Darn it. Yes, maybe I am. Okay, I'm not bringing up the plan, but I will say that, so I know that you're looking at the plan right now and you're looking at the different colors.
That's right.
And so we can call it either green or gray, right? But there's a darker greenish grayish area and a lighter greenish grayish area.
Yeah.
So that area is 360 square feet, or actually, well, let me step back for a second. The darker area,
Yeah.
that is the area that was fenced in and is approved to be re-fenced in, and that has the freezer in it. That was not dining area under the previous 2007 CUP. The area that was for seating in the previous CUP was the lighter green area, and the applicant is requesting the
I don't think
red
I understand the
area.
darker green area still.
I'm sorry?
I don't think I understand the darker green
The
area.
darker green area here on your plan, there's a
Yeah.
tree there.
Yeah.
And in '07, that was considered it was called a grass area.
Okay.
The
So it
previous-
wasn't a part of the.
It was not part of the seating.
It's part of still the plaza.
It was, yes. Well, it
Yeah.
was, it's always been part of the plaza, and so I guess something that I wanted to say earlier, and it's appropriate now, is that the structure is not changing. The building is not being touched. It's the patio area that's being, new furniture and such is going in it. And the dining area is being expanded from what was previously approved. What was previously approved for seating was not the darker areas that you see here on your map. Those were grassed area around the tree, and then I'm not sure what the other one was, but the seating was in the lighter green area.
And so the dark, right. So the dark gray though, that was approved separately. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's just, it was considered on the previous approval as a grass area.
Uh-huh.
It was approved as a grass area around the tree. And then at some point, a fence went around it, and it was used for storage. By this tenant, this tenant space, and the tenant space that now is the oil company, Olive Oil.
So is it fair to say that that should also have the red hatch and the red? Because I don't
Well, the
quite
reason
get
I'm
it.
going to say no is because the red hatched areas are, the lighter red hatched area is what the previous tenant expanded into on their own. The darker red hatched area is what this tenant wants to add.
But it includes the green, the dark green, because they have a walk-in freezer there and they have access to the walk-in freezer there, right? And the fence goes in front of it.
So ask your question again and let me try to answer clear, because I feel like I'm being clear. Maybe
I don't follow either of you.
Yeah, so, okay, I get how this
Meant to be
diagram,
humorous.
I do understand the diagram. So there's sort of zigzaggy line that creates this light green area. That's the approval. That's the original CUP.
Yes, but the darker green area
Yeah.
was also part of that CUP area. It's just that it didn't include seating. It was just part of,
Was it approved to be like fenced in?
we don't know when that fence went up. The fence went up.
Wasn't
What I'm
part of
saying,
it.
what's being requested now is that it be fenced in. So that,
No, it's not being requested now. We're not requesting that because the fence went up, the fence went up sometime between '07 and '21.
But that
And-
fence wasn't approved by.
It wasn't required to be approved, and at that time, we didn't require fence permits before 2021. Then, when we did,
But if it's public property,
That's not true.
it doesn't. I'm sorry. To me, it doesn't make sense because if it's public property, I can't just go put a fence up
Yeah.
there.
so,
Well, to be fair, 2021 is when fence permits were required. There was no process for fence permits. Now, in terms of approving a fence as a part of, like, for instance, a conditional use permit, like what had happened in 2007, yes. But we have a separate process, which is basically over the counter in terms of approving fence permits. That's what she's really getting at here. That didn't exist before. In terms of the fence getting approved, in terms of the wrought iron piece, yes. In terms of its location, yes and no, it sounds like, because it feels like they basically moved the goalpost over the years, essentially.
Okay, well, I know for sure that
all it
fences
is.
always required a permit once they were 6 feet tall, or taller.
Look how far past it goes.
right? So, but any kind of construction of anything requires planning approval in the Arcade Plaza. So even in 2007, there should have been some kind of approval for anything that goes on there, any kind of landscape change, fence,
So,
planter. I mean, really, technically, everything needs approval.
so Commissioner, the fence was not, the tall fence was not part of the '07 approval. The fence went up at some point, and within the last year, the planning department approved a replacement of the fence that perhaps went up without a permit. We approved that replacement fence. We also approved the placement of the freezer.
So
And so that area,
replacing, like, there was a freezer there before?
there was not a freezer there before. That fenced-in area was, to my knowledge, was used for storage by the tenant who currently uses the Ojai oil company and Monte Grappa, or whoever that tenant was at 242. It was used kind of as a storage area. And they both had access to it. And they will still, as approved now, they both still have access to it.
What's the fence length where it's the dark gray area that includes the tree and part of the walk-in?
That fence is cedar?
Length, sorry, height.
6 feet.
6 feet. And then how about around the walk-in freezer?
6 feet?
6 feet. That fence will enclose.
And do we allow, so I totally get it. I'm
It's
just
okay.
like trying to build
Oh,
a
no,
foundation to
please
like
ask
get to my
questions.
question.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm happy to answer.
Do we allow 6 feet tall fences on
Yes.
like behind in the arcade?
Do we allow, well, we approved the fence at 6 feet high.
I'm just asking, do we allow that? Like, does our code allow that?
Our code allows 6-foot-high fences, yes, up to 6 feet.
For businesses
To
behind the
have
arcade?
Side storage.
So our code doesn't say you can have them in this zone, or, sorry, this address versus another address. The fences are allowed at 6 feet high in the C1 zone, and this is the C1 zone.
And this fencing that they're proposing, that's like the siding, that's at 3.5, feet height.
Yes.
How tall could they make that?
They can, well, they have, how tall can they make it? They can ask for 3.5 foot, they can ask for 4 feet, they can ask for 6 feet. They're asking for 3.5.
Okay, so we allow them to build that
Yes,
as high as 6 feet
yes, subject
on
to
public
approval.
property
Subject
in
to
the
approval.
arcade.
Subject to approval.
It's discretionary, though. It's a discretionary, we don't have to approve it.
Sure, but
Correct,
that's
that's correct.
wild.
And
to
so
me
you're
that we're
here,
allowing this to happen.
and you're looking at the height of it and the design of it tonight.
Well, not exactly all of it. I guess this is the problem, because I guess there's this, I'm asking about this area that maybe was, it seems like there was an approval that happened that, gave legitimacy to something that was sort of happening informally before.
So there was a request for for the replacement of a fence and for the placement of a freezer.
Right.
And quite a while ago, or when I say quite a while ago, I think it was in the last year, and that was approved at staff level, director level.
So these two dark areas, right? Dark gray, and then it bleeds into the light gray. That's the 2007 approved CUP. Does the light gray overlap with the dark gray of what was approved, or are they two separate areas. Like I'm
So the approval, and you're talking about the approval in '07?
correct. I'm wondering, is the 2007 CUP only contained this light green, light gray area, or does it overlap with the dark gray areas where like the fences that we're talking about that's 6
Included.
feet?
The dark green area was included in the '07 approval as grass area.
As I get older, my eyes are worse. I don't have my glasses tonight, so to me that looks like dark gray. So there's this
sorry,
dark gray
did I
where
just say-
the tree is and half of the walk-in
Yes,
freezer.
that area
That was included in the 2007 CUP
as grass area.
as grass area, so not as seating.
Right, if you look on page, attachment B,
But also not
Page
as like
3
a
of 3.
fenced-in area,
if you
because
look,
they didn't need a fence at
so
that time.
if you look,
Grass
if
area would not be fenced
if you
in.
look at attachment B, page 3 of 3, that's the approval from '07.
Mhm.
And it has a darker area and a lighter area. The darker area is the dark area that is on your current plan as well. And you see a tree there,
Yep.
existing tree planter grass area. And then the other one is existing tree planter area. Those two areas were a part of the approval in '07 as existing tree
Thank you. So
areas.
I just have one more, like, I'm laying a foundation to try and get
Okay,
to,
but I want to make sure, so the patio area of 360 square feet,
Mhm.
that 360 square feet does not include those dark gray areas.
Yep,
Okay.
because it's grass area.
Right.
So if there's a CUP that's, approved by the planning commission, can the planning department unilaterally make changes to that CUP for a different use?
No, the CUP is very specifically for certain areas, certain use, and if it was approved by the planning commission, changes to it have to come back to the planning commission.
So then how does the planning department end up approving a walk-in freezer and a 6-foot fence on public property within the 2007 CUP that the planning commission approved?
I am going to state that it wasn't an expansion of the seating area, which was what the CUP was for outdoor dining specifically. This is on this plan. However, outdoor dining is what the CUP was for.
I want to apologize for how aggressive I'm being, because
No.
I like you. You're wonderful at your job.
N-
But the point that I'm going to make to the public, to the rest of the planning commission, this is not personal towards you. Sorry. This is supposed to be this dark gray where the tree is, a grass area underneath the 2007 CUP, not a fenced off, private walk-in freezer and storage area. And I understand if the prior tenants had done that without, approval, that doesn't mean that we should be, unilaterally changing the 2007 CUP in the planning department.
I just want to say, before it goes into deliberation or whatever, is that, again, the CUP is specifically for outdoor dining, and the outdoor dining was approved at 360 square feet with specific number of chairs, and it was for outdoor dining. It wasn't for grass area or anything. That's not specified in the resolution, which is here in your packet. It was specifically for outdoor dining.
But I
Which
did
is
ask if
also-
that was included in the CUP.
Well,
and you
and
did say
I,
yes.
and I said it's here on the plan. That's true. However, I'm going to correct myself and say that it's not specified in that project. What the project was for outdoor dining. And what the project is for tonight is an expansion of that outdoor dining. And the design review part is the umbrella, the fence, and the seating.
Okay, I disagree, but
That's,
I appreciate you. Yeah. Since I have the microphone, I'm just going to keep going. It does not seem like the applicants have read the arcade design guidelines. And if they have, it does not seem like they care to follow them, because everything that's in this resolution tonight for us to approve is not in line with the design guidelines. We should not be drilling into the brick, foundation to be able to put up a modern umbrella. I know that it's tasteful and that applies complies with one piece of the arcade guidelines, but it's not Mission Revival, and it does not meet the other umbrellas in the arcade that are being used by the other tenants. It is absolutely ginormous, and I think everyone here would agree that having plastic siding that comes down to encase it is not Mission Revival, part of the Mission Revival design. I don't think plastic was invented back then. On top of that, the siding, it's wonderful. It looks beautiful. Unfortunately, that's not Mission Revival. That really feels like modern farmhouse. So I think that the wrought iron fencing that every other restaurant is using on the arcade is a more appropriate fence to use. Again, it looks beautiful though. It just doesn't meet with the arcade guidelines. And yeah, this, I guess I'm going back to the fridge, but that's definitely not Mission Revival. I'm going to pass my time off to everyone else on the commission. Thank you for giving me this time.
Anything else, Jonathan?
I guess, I mean, I think the other point that's important for me to echo was about how one kind of, or how the city thinks about, let's say, delineating out potential public space for commercial use, which once again, I don't think that doesn't seem like a problem. But I do think that the relationship of, it seems worthwhile to consider still this idea that maybe the property line is existing and there's some sort of boundary in the way that something behind a building relates to the building itself. Because by expanding out, and I understand now from this that in some way the thing was already kind of doing this, but the whole point of this application is that we're saying that, obviously by the very fact of them bringing the application forward, they've taken the chance that we're going to say no. Before, they could have probably just moved in and used the patio as it had been used, which, as we know, is not per 2007. But now it's under scrutiny, and so now to me, it's like, well, obviously it should not be what it was being used for before, but it also shouldn't by any means expand beyond. Now, I think what's maybe confusing and why it's going to be hard for us to get around it is it's only a little bit expanded beyond. What's actually expanded beyond is this bigger element that seems to have already been approved. So I don't know. It's like I guess we have to ignore that to some degree. But I think without understanding the context in these drawings a little bit better, along with addressing the variety of issues kind of already brought up, I think it's hard to give blessing to move forward with it.
Okay, do you have further comments, Katrina? No. Thank you. I am getting a sense of the commission or comments that we should consider sending this package to the HPC for their comments, which will also give the applicant an opportunity to update their proposal. Is that one of our options here? And maybe you could clarify what else we might be choosing from.
The commission has the opportunity tonight, or the authority, to approve the project as it is, to deny the project, to, sorry, what is the word that I'm thinking? Thank you. To continue the project, that was a hard word, to continue the project and require it, or to go to the HPC and for comment, and then come back to the Planning Commission with those comments. And the other option, I discussed this previously with someone, and that would be to approve it with a condition that it go to the HPC. However, then they wouldn't be coming back with comments. So I think the three other options are,
We can also, is that on? Oh, we can also deny without prejudice.
that's what that was my second
Okay.
option.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Okay.
can
I'm
approve
sorry,
it,
I
you can
missed that.
deny it, or you can continue it and have them go to the HPC and then come back with comments.
And if we're taking into account what's best for this business that's trying to open, that have spent a lot of money, they've been trying to open for a long time. I walk past the building a lot. Sending it to HPC is only going to elongate the time before it gets punted back to us to make a decision on whether or not we want to approve this or deny it. And if we deny it, they're going to lose probably another 2 months. It's a long time for business to not be able to, bring in revenue. So I would actually not send it to HPC right now if there's a chance that you're going to deny the expansion and the use of some of these elements. I would say we should just deny it and have them come back to us with a revised plan so that we can help get them open sooner than later.
Can I talk about timing?
Sure.
I'm not sure which one of these is more, expeditious. However, because the report for the Planning Commission has been prepared and we have plans, this can actually go to the we could get this on the agenda for the December 11th HPC meeting. And then, if that's what you wish. If you deny the project and then they resubmit, what you didn't say is then you want them to go to HPC, you want them to just come right back here. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that time-wise, they can go to the HPC for comment on December 11th.
Can I also, if I might, just interject regarding the denial piece? If you deny the conditional use permit tonight, their original conditional use permit still stands.
Yeah.
Meaning they've got to be in compliance with the CUP as it stands. Period. There is a DE that was approved that allows for the freezer, or the cooler in this case, and the fence. But the remaining items that are a part of that conditional use permit remain in place.
And then they could open using the space from the original CUP.
Correct?
Sure.
Wrought iron fence and
The original conditions include the wrought iron fence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe we,
Approved concrete planters with wood
To the
excuse me.
Hold on.
I would,
Hold on,
If
if you, just if I could, if you're gonna reopen the, and you're gonna allow for someone from the public to speak, you really should open up the public hearing again.
can we not have the applicant answer question?
Are you the applicant?
Yes.
Yes?
I'm just want him to come to the
Okay.
dais.
Then that's okay, okay.
Okay.
So in looking at the plan on A 2.2 that some people call gray, some people call green, and has the red on it, if you were able to blow it up, which we could do with our phone, those round things that are on the 2007 CUP approved outdoor eating area are concrete planters. So they're kind of heavy. Don't know if they have a foundation or if they have, they're not easily movable, but that's what was approved. And these rectangular things between those circles, it says wooden planter boxes. So those were 2007 approved, and we're proposing new wooden planter boxes in the red area to increase the approved outdoor seating from 300 to whatever you said the square footage was we're asking.
5 something.
Yeah, 360 to 527.
Hanging.
They're
planter
hanging on
boxes.
the fence.
On the
Yeah,
fence,
they're,
yeah.
small, 3 by 6.
Are those cement planters replacing the brick, or do they sit on top of it? Do you know?
They're
There's a picture
existing.
of them. There's a picture of them, attachment E, page 2 of 7.
Yep.
Shows the the planters. They're
They're all throughout.
terracotta planters.
Oh, okay. that
They're
looks
also
like
they're also all
just
throughout. In the page one, it shows the, similar looking planters in different parts of. Oh no, back in the original.
Oh,
Oh no, this is from the architects. It's after page 3 of 3, attachment B.
attachment B.
Attachment C, page 1. Sorry. It's right after that one. Yeah. I mean, similar, similar in style planters that are next to these benches and stuff seem to be
Right.
in existence.
Right, so the ones on attachment C, page 1 of 2, those are actually city planters.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
in kind.
Yeah,
So
right.
these cement planters were obviously meant to be sort of, or whatever, who knows
Right.
came first, but
And then on attachment C, page 2 of 2, shows what the previous
yes. Looked like.
tenant had.
And that's the extent that they had pushed it to without approval.
No, those were original.
But I mean, the fence going in front of the tree like that.
No, this fencing was approved like that, I believe.
No, that's where they extended kind of without. The tree shouldn't have been a part
Well,
of their patio in the original CUP.
I think you're thinking of the wrong tree.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, so
is
the dark
the
gray-
eastern tree.
The dark gray is where the grass used to be and where they built a fence around it.
Oh, yes, sorry.
To
I'm looking
use
at the one,
the-
the photo above.
Olive Guy's storage and the restaurant storage previously had been. The red hatched area is where the seating had been
Yeah.
expanded to
Yeah.
without a CUP.
Yep.
And the dark
Exactly.
red is where we want to expand it to. So we're actually making it smaller
So
and
the
it had been existing.
the photo, no, understood. The photo, I mean, I think, so I was just there the other day actually before this, using the restroom with my kid. And I did feel pretty strongly when I was standing there that it was a shame that the path that leads up to sort of this patio gets cut off, which is sort of like the path to the bathrooms from it, which I would say, my memory from being there was if you brought this fence back, let's say on attachment C, page 2 of 2, if you brought that fence pretty close to this tree, so less than what's being requested, but more than what was there before, you would sort of like constitute the path. The circulation would still be pretty, pretty available, without completely blocking it off. I mean, I'm just to maybe like take another pass at this in regards to sort of some of the other comments that have just come. I mean, I wonder if there's, because I think I don't know how to exactly completely devoid the idea of these two fences being sort of a part of separate approvals, the tall fence for the walk-in and this short fence or whatever it is to enclose the patio. Whoops. But I'm wondering if there's like maybe an opportunity for some kind of like negotiation in this, in the sense of, it feels to me that the extents of this taller fence were probably approved for two reasons. One, it was sort of already kind of happening in a way, like it seems to me. The other is probably had something to do with the tree that's there, but I'm not totally sure. I do think that there's value in all the comments we have brought forward. I guess I'm not gonna speak for HPC, but feel in line with something that that things that Craig has brought up. But I would kind of be interested in seeing a slight amendment to what has already been improved as a gesture to allow for a level of extension that is maybe close to what's being requested, but not quite as much. Because for me, the struggle is pushing outside, even though this is all public space, pushing outside the boundary of the building feels like really a not wise idea. And breaking in the circulation also seems like a not great idea. And if the walk-in cooler is there, and we have no sort of, kind of opinion about it, I feel like maybe there's an element that's related to that approval that would sort of soften this and be like, well, yeah, we can make this patio bigger, because to an extent, making the patio bigger is fine, you know, but that it works a bit better within the confines of the space and of the back plaza area.
I'm going to share, this is the letter from Jeff Becker, the email, and he
Yeah,
included
exactly.
that's the tree
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
east
yeah,
side.
so it can be on the other side of it.
Yeah. So in the letter, he's requesting that we have it on the west side. So
So this tree probably isn't even located properly in the plan. It's actually way more over here.
it's basically
Well,
on the property line.
It
it
looks
is on
like
the
it's
property
on the
line.
Yeah.
property
Okay.
line.
It's right between the buildings. Well, it's not on the property line, but it's where the buildings split.
So I don't know if it would be a continuation or a denial for like a revision or whatever for them to come back with a new proposal, but
I would like to get some clarification on timing. We do not choose to delay your project any more than is necessary. I think we all agree that,
Yeah.
that we want you to be able to go forward. But we all do have some problems with the specific request that's being made to us tonight. So in terms of timing, would taking it to the HPC or not? I mean, I'm afraid that if we deny this and say, go back and do some revisions and come back to us, and then this HPC will still want to see it, that can take forever. So what's your advice in terms of timing?
So I'm not going to give you advice on timing because that's just not appropriate. However, I will tell you, I'll just repeat that I'm the liaison to HPC and I'm able to get it on the agenda because it hasn't been posted yet.
Okay?
And the agenda goes out on Friday. The report's written. I can get this to the HPC on December 11th. They meet once a month. That's the next meeting. It's in a week or two, right? And then your liaison for the Planning Commission is right here. However, it's not just about when it can get on a Planning Commission calendar. It's, are there going to be revisions to the plan? And I'm assuming, or I'm thinking that you wouldn't do this, delay it or continue it to a date certain because we're going to give the applicant time to digest whatever happens at the HPC, right? Then they have to get plans back to us if they're going to change them, and then we have to review it, put it in with our workload, and put it in queue, and get it back to the Planning Commission. So I wanted to put that in there. It's not just what Planning Commission dates you have. It's when we can get it to you. And if Lucas has anything else as your Planning Commission liaison and the director, I'll pass on to him.
Options are, if I could just, the options are interesting, given the comments that we've heard tonight, and certainly we appreciate this reason when we come before you. I'm trying to sort through timing on getting back to the Planning Commission, because let's just say, for instance, that you do make that determination to send it to HPC. They review it, provide comments on the 11th, and then it comes back to this body. It won't be back here till 2026. I mean, that's the reality.
But that's going to be the case probably either way, because even if we deny it right now and they get something revised to you, we're not going to see that till January, right?
Yep.
Or they just use the existing CUP.
Until,
Yep.
And they can, in the future, work on something revised, bring it back after they've opened.
that's right. Yeah. But I'm interested in changing the fence.
I am too.
So I don't know if I love that option.
I recommend that we ask them to continue it. I guess I could make a motion to continue this item, have the applicant consider our comments, continue this item so the HPC has the opportunity to comment, and bring it back to Planning Commission with Planning Commission and HPC comments incorporated to a date in the future, an undetermined date.
Yeah,
at
I
this
would not.
point.
Yeah, I would not do date certain. That would give us the opportunity to take it back to the commission and then bring it forward once revisions have been made.
Is there a second to that motion?
I think we need to outline what's in the motion.
Well, it's just to continue the project. We're not approving it, we're not denying it. We're just continuing it to allow the applicant to make changes, to take it to the Historic Preservation Commission to comment. That way, the applicant will have both the Planning Commission's comments now and HPC's comments, and then they can incorporate what we are asking for into a future proposal, a revised proposal, and bring it back to us.
If we send it to HPC, will they have to approve it
No,
before it
no,
comes back to
it's
us?
just
comments.
Comment
No,
only.
I
Comments.
see. Understood. Okay. Yeah, can we make our, okay, and if I second this, is there still time to just make
We
my
can
comments
discuss.
really clear?
Then we can
so we're-
discuss,
okay.
yes. So was that a second, Jonathan?
Yeah, I think I would second that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, now it's open for discussion, further discussion.
Okay, well, from my perspective, what I would really want to see is I want to understand the relationship of this proposal to all the elements that are shown, most directly in the photos in what's here. So I'd want to understand, like, what's the, where's that bench? Where's the arch? Where's the path to the east? Yeah, so where are these, like, within, within 50 feet, within 15 feet of this proposal, what are we looking at? Because we don't get to see that anywhere, and I think it's
It would be nice to have have an on-site visit with a taped out.
I think it's going to be hard because they have a lot of stuff there right now is the only issue. I mean, I'm open to that too.
I'm not saying today.
No, for sure.
I'm saying that when they come back with the revised proposal, a site visit would be useful.
Sure.
With taped out.
It's an option. Yeah. At the very least, I think it should be in the drawings. I mean, I think we should understand our relationship to, like, because maybe there's a pathway. We have to make sure we hold 36 inches or, just like basic ADA stuff. So I think it should be in the drawings either way. I think a site visit would be great. I think that we would also look favorably upon something that maybe reduces the amount of tall fencing currently being. So I know it's not being proposed in this current application, but it is obviously associated in an aesthetic way. It's also, I guess, a little bit tricky. I might ask the question. So if we do all that, let's say, forget about the cooler and the fence around it. We prove all that, or they come back, here's your wrought iron, this and blah, blah, blah. But is the 6-foot tall cedar fence is still approved?
It's still there.
Is that right? Okay.
It's approved, and you would kind of need it to hide the refrigeration.
Yeah.
Commissioner Chesley, you're talking about something to break down the massing of the fence as it relates to the cooler that's there currently,
The
right?
extent of it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I
Vines.
guess.
Whether that be some sort of,
Vines.
Well, no, I
work.
think the extent of it. I mean, in a way, it's like if this cedar thing is approved, I mean, maybe there's a way. Maybe they come back to us and they say, well, we thought about the wrought iron, but we have this way of making the wood thing have a level of detail and articulation that's really actually in line with the Mission Revival, because they built with wood too. It's not all just plaster and metal and whatever. So, and we're going to do that to this 6-foot tall thing as well, and that would be great. That would be like, okay, I see how this is all coming together, and we're So
okay.
I mean, I know we're sort of stepping over the line here, but
Potentially, but I think it's worth asking the question.
yeah. So that comment is just if there was a way to reduce the amount of tall fencing and its relationship to adjacent buildings and pulling that closer to this approved fence and the approved walk-in, I think that would make this whole proposal a lot more palatable as well.
Okay. Further discussion?
My comments would be to relook at the patio umbrella and look at what, I forget the business name, Black Magic Tea Company or the Magic Hour, yeah. Tea Company is using. They're pretty elevated umbrellas. They look great. Just something smaller and definitely nothing that is going to have some plastic side draping on it. As well as move back to the wrought iron fences that were approved in the original CUP or something similar, which is what pretty much every other business in the arcade is using. It matches that style.
You're okay? All right.
What about the chairs? That is, plastic chairs are not allowed under the
Well,
arcade
yeah,
guidelines.
they don't meet the intent of the design guidelines for sure.
Okay. So I assume that the applicant has the design guidelines or will very soon obtain them. So with that, I would ask for a roll call vote on our motion that's on the floor.
Murphy,
Yes.
Chesley,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Rice Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess we've given you a great deal to consider. And we hope that the Historic Preservation Commission is able to address this in a very prompt manner so that it doesn't delay the project any more than it has to. And we look forward to seeing you come back in the near future. Thank you.
Is your microphone on? Is it on?
Okay. Moving on in the agenda, we are going to future agenda items. And it appears at this point that there is nothing on the agenda for December 17th, unless it's come up in the last couple days?
No, there's nothing ready for consideration before this body.
Okay, so do we need to move to cancel, or do we does that just
I
happen?
do need this body to make a motion
motion?
to
Okay.
cancel that meeting, yes.
I would address a motion at this point. Entertain one.
I make a motion to cancel the December 17th regular meeting.
And a second?
Second.
And a roll call vote?
Murphy,
Yes.
Chesley,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Rice Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Anything else on the future agenda? that we
In
need-
terms of future agenda items, I mean, you're seeing the pending items from all the way back from 2023, 2024, and 2025. These items all just remain in,
Limbo?
yeah, basically they're all identifying incompleteness status. The one at the bottom does identify pending. That was one, actually no one on this commission was a part of when we first had the conversation regarding Title X. For the, interesting enough, outdoor dining and outdoor dining facilities, there was lots of discussion in terms of this body regarding outdoor dining facilities, which is a minor conditional use permit, versus the CUP, which is the outdoor dining piece. It might actually make sense for us to schedule that in the near future if you're interested, just to understand the differences and the nuances that exist between the two.
I think that would be
Especially
very
for this
useful.
body, and certainly hearing what I heard tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a difference between outdoor dining on private property versus on city property. I think there's
Absolutely.
a difference.
Yes.
And
Maybe also like the size and scope of, what they're going to be using it for. Because like, a busing area versus a semi-permanent outdoors,
right,
storage unit, yeah.
yeah.
And there's examples that I could turn to. I won't Carrie, make sure you keep me in line here. I won't necessarily identify specific businesses, but I'll show examples of where we have existing minor conditional use permits that have been approved, as well as CUPs that are currently on file.
It would also be helpful if we could get some clarification on the Public Works piece of this in terms of their approval and fee schedules and payments.
Yeah,
and
the hope
so on.
is to have some additional clarification on that. I can't really speak on that because it's not an item on the agenda for tonight. Carrie's she's gonna tell me I can't talk about it. So
That's what I'm
yeah,
asking.
I can set it for a future discussion, yes.
Okay.
And I think it probably is appropriate within that kind of scale of the Title 10, Chapter 2. There's a couple different sections that highlight outdoor dining for private versus public use.
Good.
Yeah.
All right?
Carrie, I would love to get like a legal answer.
Sure.
Maybe not necessarily tonight, but before the next meeting or before we discuss this, right? Whether or not the planning department can make a minor variance to a conditional use permit that was approved by the planning commission. Whether that's for outdoor dining or
Yeah, that's
for
fair.
another,
Okay.
Sure. I'll speak with Lucas on that further so we can refine the project for you.
Well, but I understand where you're
Yeah, right.
coming
Yeah.
from in terms of the context. So
Yeah.
it's a use question for sure.
Understood.
yeah,
Well,
thank
and
you.
it's also design review, right?
Correct. Yes. Which, funny enough, one of the items that I'm going to be talking about here in a minute is design review just done at staff level.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we want to encourage outdoor dining, right? And so it seems like, well, never mind. We're going
I don't want to
into
get into
the details.
yeah, because there's a lot to unpack regarding that, and certainly this body has had lots of discussions on it regarding items as far back as long as I've been here. So
Okay, moving along.
yeah.
We are now at the director's report.
Yes. So, interesting enough, this is the reason why I keep bringing this up. Director's exemptions. There is a policy that we have in place. It was initially provided by council through the city manager's office in 2015, and then was revised. And each of you have this in your packet of information. It was revised in 2019. These are the provisions that we use when we meaning me, through the community development department, review and approve items that go forward as a director's exemption. So, remember a couple weeks ago when I said, "Hey, the next time I send out a DE, I want to make sure that I've got everybody's email. So let me know just by simply replying that you've received it." Guess what we found out? We had an email that was invalid that we had to modify, that got kicked back. So we do have everybody's emails. I got responses from everybody, so that was encouraging. And it wasn't necessarily in regards to what we talked about tonight, but it is a DE that is currently up for review and discussion. So I know I asked for you to respond. I can't necessarily talk about that specific DE because it's not on the agenda. But if you do have questions on it, I encourage you to check out the website. There's a specific link that'll take you directly to the staff report, all the plans, the application that go along with it as well.
I'm going to give you a chance to just, smack us around a little bit. For the outdoor freezer, that was a director's exemption. Was that part of one of the DE emails that you sent us and we
Yes.
just didn't?
Yeah,
react?
it was done, to Mara's credit, I think it was done probably almost 9 months ago.
Okay.
It was done a while ago. And
Got it.
I can talk generally about this, correct? Okay, so I just can't get into the specifics. But generally, when that DE went forward, there was a discussion of potentially doing more, but that's as far as they were looking to go at that time. That's why we felt comfortable moving forward with that piece. Understanding the history of the fence creep or the outdoor dining permit creep, from a processing standpoint, I can't talk about outdoor dining. I'm gonna stop.
I
I'm
just
gonna
want to
stop.
know
I
if
really
it came
want
to
to talk about
us
it, but I
and
can't.
it slipped through
Sorry.
our cracks,
It-
because
it-
if we're going to be upset with you and we didn't do our,
All our cracks.
Well, to be fair, from a processing standpoint, we get your emails, and I'm having those conversations with each of you. But I understand it very well. But I want to make sure that you, as individuals, which is the reason why I kind of wanted to go over the DE process tonight. So it's an informational piece, really, kind of just me talking. Can we go into Q&A a little bit, or no?
Not as it pertains to the specific site that we're talking about.
Specific site, okay.
But we can
So
talk
we can
about
talk
it in
generally
general.
about the director's exemption process. So let me just unpack it just a little bit here. To Commissioner Katrina Rice-Schmidt, to your benefit, I know you had been employed here in previous years, and certainly you have a wealth of knowledge and institutional knowledge, and certainly when I hear you speak, I'm like, yeah, you either processed it or you were a part of that process, right? In terms of how some of these projects moved forward. From a director's exemption standpoint, dating back to when this was revised in 2019, there was an interest by the community, by city council, to understand what was being authorized and approved by the community development director at that time, as well as just how the practices and process was being handled leading up to the 2019 policy that came forward. This policy was in response to that, and the lack of clarity and information that was coming forward. It just felt very somewhat discombobulated. So it provided some clarity to that, and not only that, but it provided clarity to both the Planning Commission to consider as well as City Council. So when these directors' exemptions go out, they don't go out just to this Planning Commission for review, consideration, and potentially call up. They also go to City Council for review, consideration, and call up. So once those go out, there is a 10-day basically appeal period, but it's a call-up period where 2 members of this body can reach out to me or to community development staff, not to the clerk, and ask for the item to be called up. If that happens, we stop processing the DE, and it basically pauses, and it gets scheduled for the next available Planning Commission meeting. Now, on the City Council side, the same thing is true. 2 council members can call the item up. And the way in which that works is, and it would work through CDD, but also through the city clerk's office. So the 2 of us would be coordinating and basically identifying if that item itself has been called up. If it gets called up, then that process is paused until it comes before that body for consideration. From a noticing standpoint, DEs do not get noticed as you would typically have a public hearing notice get noticed. So for instance, there isn't a 300-foot, as a minimum, a 300-foot notice that goes out as a radius from the subject site. Instead, really, the only individuals that see it are staff, the applicant, this body, as well as City Council.
Is there,
oh, you go ahead. Just because we can, approve an outdoor walk-in freezer, should we? I think that's where we're at. It's like,
Yeah,
this is crazy to us.
yeah.
Understood.
I think that, I know that the ones at Sam's Place when it was Movino, I know that went to public hearing before the Planning Commission. And I know the one across the lawn went to Planning Commission. And I know this one originally went to Planning Commission. It just seems that this is such an important place, the Arcade Plaza, that really, and I think anything should go to the Planning Commission or HPC, depending on, what it is. So I don't know, I think the threshold for director's exemption should be 1 planning commissioner, because if there's any doubt, it should go up.
So and and I appreciate the comments and the information. The policy itself stipulates 2. That was what council had authorized in reviewing this and felt comfortable with that. I get the understanding and kind of the interest in it being 1. It is 2. When I started here, the question was asked of me, when do you require, or when is the discretion to the director versus the planning commission? And my response was, it depends on the application. It really does. To your point, you've just cited 2 other examples. I think even Graham had identified an example. I wasn't aware of those examples. I was using the information that was provided to me at the time, and it felt comfortable. I get where this commission is coming, and certainly duly noted. There's always a sliding scale in terms of how we evaluate these things, and certainly is going to stick in my mind moving forward.
Is there anything, I mean, since it seems clear that maybe we didn't all receive the director's exemption because of this sort of, I don't know, some email, I mean, does that play a role in how this reads in any way? Like, it's like you're supposed to do it in this way. You tried to do it, but it actually didn't work.
If you're calling about a specific one that you failed to receive the notice of the director's exemption in advance of the decision, I mean, I suppose that we could go back and correct it. It's not a Brown Act violation, but it would be something under the code. It's possibly correctable, but it's already been approved. So I don't think in this instance we can pull back.
Yeah, I mean, like
beyond
after,
that.
it would have to be after, it would be after because we're kind of learning
Right, but
about
going
it.
forward,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I think the problem with this one is it's so far down the road.
Yeah, they've done the electric. I mean, I think I was trying to. I don't know if we can talk. Can I talk about this? No. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along.
Can I just say one thing just at a 20,000 foot level? Yes. Even after an approval, we still can go back and have the conversation. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're mute.
Uh-huh.
I'll just say that.
Sure.
You wouldn't take action, though, would you? I mean, you
Can't
can
speak
go
to
back
that.
and discuss it all
Can't-
day, but,
Yeah, I can't.
Well, moving forward.
Yes, moving forward. There we go. Thank you.
okay, yeah, good words. Okay, are there any commission member reports? You all do have the MAC list that Sherry provided to us, I hope?
I missed the last MAC meeting.
Okay.
My daughter was very sick, and it was kind of last minute, and I
Okay.
totally forgot.
You can always call
totally.
one of us and
It's like
sub in at the
the
last minute.
radar
Be happy to
totally
do that.
floated off, so I apologize for
No
that.
problem.
Is that on rotation? I
Yeah.
don't
It's
have
on a
that.
She should
Okay.
she'll send you an email. I mean, I had received an email like a week before, or
But
2 weeks
there
before.
is also a list. Sherry, if you ask Sherry for it, she created a rotation list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably
So
need to
know
see
what's
that.
Coming up.
Correct.
Could you ask Sherry to send that to all of us again?
I will have
please?
her resend it just
Thank you.
at the top of your guys' emails. Yes.
Thank you.
Have I missed one?
Yeah, potentially, yes.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds like it. The MAC is a rotating,
Yeah.
so each one of you has the opportunity. And if you have questions regarding the MAC when you attend it, you certainly can reach out to me or to Sherry to help facilitate. Because really what they're looking for is just updates in terms of what the Planning Commission has been up to.
Yeah.
But also you're sitting there and you're also hearing what's happening from a regional
Countywide.
standpoint.
It's good to see. Like when I went, they talked about the path, and they talked about the park in Miners Oaks, and there was like a bunch of, it
good
was
stuff.
Yeah,
definitely relevant
100%.
items. Yeah, very
Yep.
relevant.
Yeah, it's if you haven't been, or I believe everybody, well, okay, so with the exception of maybe, right, I think you haven't been yet, yes. Oh, no, okay.
Never been. You've missed like 5.
You do need, what we're asking for is it's on a rotational basis. At one point, I do remember there was just someone assigned and then it didn't feel fair, so then we started doing the rotational piece. Now, we could have a discussion on if somebody just wants to be assigned to it and feels so comfortable with that. We can certainly have that conversation at a later meeting. But the rotational piece is what we have been doing, and this body's been doing for a number of years.
Good. Okay, it is now time to hear from our city council liaison. Rachel.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for all your hard work tonight and always. I just have a couple of things to announce. First of all, I wanted to welcome Carrie. We're thrilled to have Carrie as a part of our team, along with Bethany and Sunny and Cody as well. Those are the attorneys that you'll hear about and you'll be seeing. And then also, this is just for your information. Last night we had our council meeting, and you all have been, some of you are new, but you all have been helping us move forward the Habitat for Humanity project. And so I just wanted to let you know that we extended the MOU, and we are pushing the go button and hoping to get ground broken in April for that. I know that's something that, Judy, you've been hard at work on, and so I thought you'd be happy to hear.
I am, thank you.
Yep. And then I have one other announcement, and this is a fun one. The city's been invited to participate in the Oakview Christmas Parade on Saturday, December 13th. We have a trolley, and we're going to have the trolley in the parade, and there are several of us who are going to be there. I've got an elf costume I'm going to wear, so and
Don't miss it.
yes, exactly, don't miss it. And all of the commissioners, we're inviting anyone who wants to. Yeah, not obligated. I know you all have very busy lives, but if you want to join us, let me know, and we'll be meeting at 4:00 p.m. on the 13th. And I think the parade goes from 5 to 7, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but it's in the evening. So you're welcome to attend, and we would love to have as many of our commissioners as we can. So thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay. With that, we will adjourn, unless there's a last call here. Okay. At, what is it? 7:46, something?